So over the past few years, child stars have been putting out memoirs like Britney Spears, Jeanette McCurdy, Joanna Levesque, aka JoJo, and now Allison Stoner. And I know there's been more. I started reading or listening to Will Smith's. I haven't gotten to Jada's, though I don't know if I'll ever really read that. But my point is, I have been listening to a lot of child star, child performer, teenage performer, former teenage performer, memoirs. And I'm in the middle of reading Allison Stoner's, or listening to Allison Stoner's. And I just got to chapter 7. And there's a part in chapter 7 where she had just done Cheaper by the Dozen. Classic, classic, classic. We love Cheaper by the Dozen. And the second one. Great movies. And she's getting all this like press and all this stuff about the movie. And she's really going and becoming like, bigger in the world of media. And so, and yes, they are non-binary now. So if I go between they, them, and she, that's why. Anyways, but back then, the little girl. And so she, at that time, she basically was on IMDb, and she was going through all these comments and like posts about her on the site about, her performance in the movie, all these things, blah, blah, blah. And then she said that, of course, there were, impersonators of her, because when hasn't there been of famous people on the internet? But then she said there was this one post that she saw, and it was this link, and it was like XXX, you get it. And then she clicks on the link. Now, mind you, Allison is only like 9.5, 10 at this point. I think she said she was 10 at this point. Her character is 13. Somebody, some sick ass person, decided to take her little kid face, her little kid body, like up to here, right? And put it on a grown ass woman's body for PORN, for sick PDF files pleasure. And I think about this a lot, honestly. I think about this a lot because in the early 2000s and the 90s, like the late 90s when the internet started to become like a thing, I remember this time period, the early internet, and it was disgusting. And not just for celebrities, like all girls and people, but like celebrities went through it, okay? Because I remember that countdown clock that some pervert had on the internet to when Mary-Kate and Ashley would turn 18. Yeah, like, people were disgusting. People were disgusting. And they still are, obviously. They still are, because they be doing this stuff to this day, right? That's why y'all got to be really careful what you post on the internet. And that's why especially new moms and, like, moms in general who have little kids, especially little girls, need to be careful what they be posting on the internet. Because now it's even easier for them to create PORN, child PORN, for their sick PDF file selves and their friends. Okay? And you don't know where this stuff is going. But that part was like, wow. And I think I had heard them talk about this, Allison talk about this in a previous interview, maybe. Maybe it was the YouTube series that they had put out last year, maybe. But it's wild. It's really wild out here. And yeah. There are sick people out there. Like, the fact somebody took a 10-year-old Allison's face and used it to make child PORN is disgusting. Truly. And I feel for every single, not only child star, but just child in the early 2000s, the late 90s, early 2000s, who went through this. Because I know that there were so many who did. And it's wild. It's really wild. But if you're not listening to Allison Stoner's or reading Allison Stoner's new memoir, you should, because it's really, really good. It's really, really good. And I've only gotten to chapter 7, so we've gone over the Missy Elliott video, we've gone over Mike's Super Short Show, and we've gone over just them getting into the industry. But it just makes me sad when these child stars who are really super talented, like they're so talented, right? And they are so good at their craft, are going through so much turmoil in their own personal life when it comes to their family, especially as kids. Like, it sucks. And then the industry doesn't make any better because the industry always has a way of exploiting that. They know that the child star is going through hard times at home, and they know that they can basically give them a dream to make everything better, but in the end it doesn't make anything better. It actually makes everything worse, and it sucks. Like, yeah, there are those parts where it's cool and fun and great and you're having a good time and you're happy, but then there's also those other times where they are exploiting the hell out of you, and you're already going through it at home and they're exploiting the hell out of you in Hollywood, and it's like, can I catch a break? But it's like wild. But like, yeah, and there's a reason I'm reading all of these or listening to all of these child stars memoirs, specifically ones from the 2000s that I grew up with as a millennial. And it's because I'm just curious, like, with everything that's just been coming out in the last few years about child stardom, and this hasn't started coming out within the last few years just like, out of nowhere. People have been talking about this literally since, the 40s, the 70s, the 90s. Like, it's not just something new and, whatever. But I feel like now more than ever, more child stars are able to tell their own stories, which I think is really important. But it's just sad what they go through. Like, it's really, really sad what they go through. And it's sad that they are exploited the way they are. And it's sad that a lot of them do come from these really dysfunctional, messy families, and then the industry just exploits that. Like, it's really sad. I haven't finished Allison's book yet, but I'm in the process of listening to it, and I'm excited because I love Allison. I think Allison's great, and I think what they're doing now with their platform is really amazing. They are a mental health practitioner now, and they are getting certified to be able to be a mental health practitioner on like movie sets and TV sets and like professional like Broadway sets and stuff like that for these kids. And I think that's really important because nobody was really there for a lot of these kids back in the day, and they need that because there's some shady things that be going on these sets, and nobody's there to check that and to be there for that. Even the parents who try their hardest to be there for their kids, the industry, the people on set will tell them to get out of here so they can exploit your kids. And it's disgusting. So I really shout out to Allison. They've also been trying to get legislation passed. I think they might have for like these child performers who be in these like family vlogs and like on TikTok and stuff. Like, I think what Allison is doing is amazing. So yeah, go listen or read their memoir. It's really good from what I've already listened to. And when I finish, I'll give you a little review. But also read or listen to Jeanette McCurdy's and JoJo's and even Britney Spears, because if you really care about the child stars that made our childhood so incredible growing up, listen to their stories, because I'm seeing a lot of similarities in each one of these memoirs, and it's wild. It's wild, but shout out to child stars because you gave us these really incredible TV shows and movies and music, and I really am proud of you, and I'm sorry for all the things you had to go through just to make our childhoods happy. So, yeah.